capital of South Sudan. Since violence broke out in South Sudan capital, Juba, in mid-December last year, thousands have been killed and displaced. More research on NTV.
8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4.
To another story that was also a subject of great debate all week. If convicted of acts of pornography, you could be officially profiled in the government registry. Convicts face up to 10 to 15 years in jail and fines between 10 and 15 million shillings. This as the anti-pornography bill became law. President Yoweri Museveni assented to it on the 6th of February, the day the NRM caucus opened. In its state, the now Anti-Pornography Act 2014 is not without controversy.
Seated in a revolving chair with a sly smile, Ethics Minister Father Simon Lokodo appeared like a child ready to burst with a secret, which only he knew. It wasn't long before he let it out.
Finally, the infamous anti-pornography bill is law.
He did not hesitate in outlining what this implies.
Main gaps where insidious enticements, misleading behavior, and poisoning character of persons has been perpetuated.
The media has also not been spared.
We have had issues where we have publications on the tabloids, okay? Where children are having access to those on the streets. We are saying no more.
The law says anyone who publishes, produces, broadcasts, procures, imports, exports or abets any form of pornography is liable to a fine of 10 million Uganda shillings, about $4,000, or imprisonment not exceeding 10 years, or both punishments. Clause 14 considers more heinous child pornography, and this carries a heftier fine. Offenders face a fine of up to 15 million shillings, an equivalent of about $6,000, or imprisonment of not more than 15 years, or both. A warrant to search your premises will be issued if you're suspected to have pornographic material, including in computers. You'll be arrested as well, and obstruction will cause a fine of 5 million shillings, about $2,000, and you'll serve a jail term, or both. An internet service provider who fails to control pornography breaks the law and faces a fine of 5 million shillings, or up to 5 years in jail, or both.
Pornography should be restricted, but there's a social media, especially WhatsApp. There are so many dirty videos that go across there. I don't know how they're going to do that, which would be like abolishing WhatsApp in Uganda, which is impossible. Very impossible, unless you, I don't know, China managed to abolish Facebook.
But there is a part that is so overt, and it concerns women.
Even though it's a general bill that describes all sorts of pornography, there are fears that this bill is mostly going to affect the women.
Miriam Atembe, a women rights activist and a former ethics minister, asserts that the law is more oppressive in its treatment of women.
To say that it is the law which is going to enforce morality and ethical values in this country is mixing things. And I see girls being the sufferers of this. And they will be raped. The police will arrest these young girls. They will take them in police cells. They will be raped. After all, we don't have prisons or cells for young people.
But that's not really fair.
Lokodo insists that the dress code has degenerated and should be checked, something Matembe, who has been victim before during Amin's regime, disagrees with.
If you dress in such a way that you irritate the mind and excite the people, then you are badly dressed.
Let me tell you this nonsense of enticing. I don't want to hear that nonsense of enticing, because one thing I know is that God made us different from animals. God gave us what they call self-control.
You draw the attention of the other person outside there with a malicious, purpose of inciting and stimulating him or her into sex.
These men out there who are sleeping with their children of 12 years, 6 years, 5 years, are they being enticed? Those boys who are raping their grandmothers and mothers, are they being enticed?
By definition, the Act describes pornography as representation through publication, exhibition of a person, engage in real or stimulated explicit sexual activities, or representation of the sexual parts of a person for sexual excitement.
The whole body of a person may be a sexual part, depending on who is saying sex. Because for me, as far as I'm concerned, the best sexual part of a person, of a man, it is his penis, and the woman, it is vagina. Now, if you are going to say buttocks are sexual parts, thighs are sexual parts, then the breasts are sexual parts, then you better put the mouth which kisses, because it is a sexual part, and then you dress it.
However, there are exceptions to what is considered pornographic, like teaching aids and other medical apparatus, and couples fulfilling their conjugal rights.
So long as it is done, of course, behind walls. If it is in a cultural practice that is meant to expose the cultural beauty of that community, it's let to go. If you are in the beach, in sports, very often you are scarcely dressed, especially you ladies.
He says that, in this case, if anyone loses track of the game, then it's their fault. That aside, anyone convicted will be registered as an offender, even when the fine has been cleared. Florence Salimba, NTV.
All right, now Prime Minister Mama Mbabazi has said that he will only follow the NRM party constitution if he is to contest the presidency. Speaking to journalists at Parliament this week, Mbabazi, whose perceived intention to contest the presidency has sent ripples in the ruling party, gave a non-strip post on whether he will contest the presidency or not in 2016. Now, the Premier, who is also the Secretary General, is amongst the ruling party lawmakers who endorsed a motion supporting the candidature of President Museveni as flag bearer in the 2016 polls. Maurice Ochol filed that report.
Mbabazi's remarks came at the time fault lines begin to emerge within the ruling party's armory over whether President Museveni or the Premier should contest the presidency on the ruling party ticket in 2016. Speaking to journalists at Parliament, Mbabazi offered a nuanced reposit. At the time, reports continue to emerge that he has not entirely shelved his presidential ambitions.
Or that they think I should contest. Well, I have said many times to you people that I strictly abide by the rules of the party. That's how I conduct my affairs.
Mbabazi is amongst the 200 lawmakers who appended their signatures on a motion supporting the candidacy of President Museveni as flag bearer of the NRM EFI6 office in 2016.
I present to you the gentleman.
But it's not clear yet whether the endorsement is binding and bars any other candidates within the ruling party from seeking the highest office in the party, hence the flag bearer's position.
Don't know what's causing all this. Because it's unusual, it's unfamiliar, and it's not necessary.
Only yesterday, a section of NRM youth leaders said they support the candidature of Mbabazi in 2016, though Mbabazi says he is not aware of their interests. Highly placed sources in the NRM believe this group had the blessing of the Premier.
For the funds.
With the ping-pong between the Prime Minister Mbabazi's function and the President's loyalists, injecting life is often predictable and a mundane political narrative.
The youth for the President, hoye! Hoye! The fifth term, hoye! Hoye! A winning President, hoye! Hoye!
Another youth group today called for the disciplinary action for those who are against the Chankwanzi declaration.
They should be investigated and subjected to the NRM disciplinary action in accordance with the rule.
The consultation took place. Let them come clearly and say that we are doing this thing on our own, but not as the youth of Uganda.
Was not in line with the NRM youth league position.
The NRM youth leaders also asked Mbabazi to abide by the Chankwanzi motion which he endorsed.
Himself, he endorsed his boss. And that is our position.
Our vision are led by the president.
Meanwhile, the leader of opposition Wafula Gutu has replaced Aru County MP Odonga Oto with Butambala County MP Mwanga Chivumbi after the legislator declined taking up the internal affairs shadow minister position.
And so we had a discussion, both of us, and agreed to replace him with the Honorable Mwanga Kivumbi. Yes.
Maurice Ochol, NTV.
Police in Kampala have arrested a man for allegedly extorting 15 million shillings from the relatives of a 65-year-old nurse accused of injecting a toddler with HIV-infected blood. The man is said to have promised the nurse's relatives he would get her bail if they paid the money. The suspect, however, denies the accusations. We have that report.
The suspect, accused of extorting money from the relatives of a 65-year-old Rosemary Namobiru, has been identified as Cobb Mpanga. He is accused of posing as a court official and taking 15 million shillings from Namobiru's distraught relatives to help them get her bail. According to Namobiru's relatives, the man promised to get the nurse bail on the 11th of this month. He was, however, nowhere to be seen on the D-Day, prompting them to file a case at the police.
It sometimes poses as a high court worker, sometimes as a state house worker. Both things we have proved not to be true. But he went and obtained money amounting to 15 million shillings.
A search was then mounted, which led to Kobe's arrest. But Cobb denies the allegations.
No.
Rosemary Namobiru's case came to light last month after the mother of a 2-year-old baby accused her of injecting her baby with HIV-infected blood. Namobiru was initially charged with attempted murder but had her sentence changed to criminal negligence, a charge that could carry 7 years in prison if found guilty. Her case has attracted reactions from HIV rights activists who accuse the media of violating her rights and presumption of innocence. She's being held in Luzera prison as the hearing of her case goes on. Irene Namialo, NTV.
We are now going to take a very short break, but still to come on 7 days.
Still to come, pay the price. Parliament wants senior government officials prosecuted over missing OPM donor funds. Not just yet. Uganda to pull its troops out of South Sudan only after a neutral force is deployed.
NTV, turning on your world.
Kolo lwenyini olwokutaano bwe bamutta.
As innocent as I was, that the police could have been involved in this. He authorizes for Benzi was arrest the driver and my husband's ex-partner. I think they found dollars in his pockets.
Welcome back to 7 Days. I am Joel Kamadi with Maureen Nambaliwa on sign language. Now, Parliament wants the former permanent secretary in the office of the Prime Minister, Pius Bigirimana, Accountant General Gustavo Boch, and Secretary to the Treasury, Keith Muhakanizi, prosecuted for misappropriating donor money meant for the rehabilitation of war-wrecked northern Uganda. Now, the Public Accounts Committee report on the special audit investigations into allegations of financial mismanagement in the office of the Prime Minister is also calling for fresh investigations into the embattled principal accountant Geoffrey Kazinda. Now, as Agnes Nanduru reports, the minority report presented by Kalungu MP Joseph Seungu wants the Prime Minister Amama Mbabazi to take political responsibility and step down.
The much-awaited report into financial misappropriation of an astronomical sum of money in the office of the Prime Minister has been tabled before the August House this afternoon together with the Minority Report. Over 50 billion shillings meant to rehabilitate war-ravaged northern Uganda was stolen in the OPM's office in what was one of the biggest white-collar swindles under the NRM regime. The Parker report, among many other officers, implicates former Permanent Secretary Pius Bigirimana in the office of the Prime Minister, Secretary to the Treasury, Keith Muhakanizi, and former Treasury Accountant General, Gustav Wochi.
People must be brought and must be made culpable for losses that have been occasioned to the government of Uganda, and there should be no stone unturned, so that we ensure that the fight against corruption in this country is taken to its appropriate direction.
Billions of money being swindled, and instead of implicating some individuals, people are just praised and promoted. The case of Bigirimana. Bigirimana was transferred from OPM to another ministry.
The main report presented by the outgoing PAC chairman Wadri Kasiano pins the Prime Minister Amama Mbabazi for exerting political pressure on the Permanent Secretary Pius Bigirimana to buy him a state-of-art Mercedes-Benz worth 300 million shillings. However, the report exonerates Mbabazi of political culpability.
I am a chairman of a committee. I'm a strategist. At the end of the day, you will find that actually this minority report augments our recommendation. It supports our recommendation. And I needed to have everybody on board.
So are you agreeable with the minority report?
I am 100%. I'm in agreement with the minority report. I cannot say more than that. I'm 100% in agreement, and I will tell you.
The main report itself, with the chronology of the grand and unshameful theft, and then you come up with recommendations which are weak in nature, I fail to understand.
Public Accounts Committee looks at the accounting officers. Unless there is proven issues with the evidence that there was influence peddling by political officers, that's when we come up to recommend.
However, a minority report tabled by Kalungu West MP Joseph Seungu indicts the Prime Minister for his role in blocking the transfer of the principal accountant Geoffrey Kazinda.
You step aside until and when the investigations or this report has been completed and this report submitted to the appropriate authority. But as it stands now, we are being judges of our own case. I support.
You know that the conclusion will be that the Prime Minister takes political responsibility because he's the chief supervisor of that ministry, of that department or his office, and a lot of things were done under his nose.
The report, which will be debated on Tuesday next week in the plenary, also implicates many other officers from the Ministry of Finance, Bank of Uganda, and Office of the Prime Minister.
Foreign Affairs Minister Sam Kutesa says Uganda will pull its troops out of South Sudan once a neutral force is deployed to prevent a recurrence of violence. The minister was speaking at a news conference in Kampala that comes weeks after the U.S. government and members of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development called for the withdrawal of UPDF troops in the war-ravaged nation. NTVUganda reports.
The Ugandan government was recently asked to withdraw its troops from South Sudan by the U.S. government and members of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development. The international community, which had initially approved Uganda's military expedition, says the pullout is meant to facilitate the ceasefire deal signed in the Ethiopian capital in January. But Uganda's Minister of Foreign Affairs Sam Kutesa says the UPDF will only pull out once a neutral force from the region is deployed to prevent more bloodshed.
These countries are South Africa, Angola, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Chad, Algeria. We have therefore called on the Peace and Security Council of the AU to kickstart this mechanism.
South Sudan's Defense Minister Kuol Manyang last week said their government was footing the entire bill of the UPDF's operations in their troubled nation. But Minister Sam Kutesa denies that claim.
Unfortunately, we tried to contact him, but he's out of the country. As far as we know, we are footing the bills of AUPDF in South Sudan. But of course, if South Sudan wants to relieve us of that burden, we'll be more than happy.
The calls for UPDF's withdrawal from South Sudan recently stirred tensions between the international community on the one hand and the Kampala and Juba administrations on the other. President Salva Kiir's spokesperson on 6th February told journalists that the UPDF will remain in their country to maintain peace and hunt down Joseph Kony, the reclusive rebel leader of the Lord's Resistance Army.
So if you bring Kony, then there's no problem. They can come back as soon as possible.
As pressure mounts for Uganda to pull its troops out of South Sudan, a UN landmine clearing team has reported finding remnants of cluster bombs along areas where fighting broke out. The revelation points an accusing finger to the Ugandan government and South Sudanese armies.
There is evidence, actually, there is on record that cluster bombs have been found in southern Sudan way back in September last year. And this unexploded ordnance must be part and parcel of what was found then.
The explosives that are dropped by air or fired by artillery scatter bombs across a wide area can kill and maim civilians long after the conflict has ended. The denial comes amid reports of fresh fighting in Malakal, the capital of South Sudan's Upper Nile state. The latest round of fighting is the most serious since the signing of the ceasefire deal in January.
Uganda deployed its troops in South Sudan in the wake of an alleged coup by soldiers loyal to the former sacked Vice President Riek Machar to overthrow his former boss, President Salva Kiir. It's not clear how many Uganda People's Defense Forces troops have been on the ground that help salvage the youngest nation from ethnic cleansing. However, it is estimated that over 2,000 people died in less than 1 week of violence that had taken ethnic dimension.
Sudhir Biarhanga, NTV.
Now, the Constitutional Court has today ordered MPs Theodosi Chikobo, Barnabas Tinkasimire, Wilfred Niwagaba and Mohamed Sereko, who were expelled from the NRM party, to vacate their seats with immediate effect. By a verdict of 4-1, the justices concurred with the petition filed by the NRM party, which was anchored on a legal argument that upon the expulsion from the party, the 4 MPs would automatically lose their seats. Court has also ordered the Electoral Commission to conduct fresh by-elections.
The final judgment of the court was read this afternoon by the acting Chief Justice, Stephen Kavuma. His colleagues Richard Butera, Faith Monda and Augustine Nishimye had all concurred that the 4 expelled MPs should lose their seats. Kavuma argued that the fate of the 4 lawmakers was sealed after they were expelled from the NRM party. He also ordered the lawmakers not to access parliamentary chambers and asked the Electoral Commission to conduct by-elections.
The 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th respondents are hereby ordered to vacate their seats in Parliament forthwith.
Earlier on in the morning, Justices Butera and Monda read their judgments. Butera, in his view, said that the Speaker of Parliament acted unconstitutionally by refusing to declare the seats vacant. The former DPP argued that the writing was on the wall after the MPs were expelled from the party, while Justice Monda said in the interest of democracy, the lawmakers should have vacated their seats.
Vacation of their seats was by operation of that constitutional article. They remained in Parliament as de facto independent members of Parliament with an unconstitutional status.
I conclude that the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th respondents voluntarily, freely, deliberately, intentionally, by design, optionally, willingly, left the petitioner in constitutional petition number 21 and consequently contravene the Constitution if they continue staying in Parliament.
However, Justice Remy Kasule read a dissenting judgment. Kasule differed with the views of his colleagues, saying the MPs cannot lose their seats upon expulsion from the NRM because they represent their constituencies regardless of political affiliation. Kasule said the Speaker was justified to let the MPs stay in Parliament after the expulsion from the NRM over indiscipline.
That the expulsion of a member of parliament by his or her political party on whose ticket he or she was elected to parliament does not automatically result in the parliamentary seat of that member becoming vacant. I refuse.
As it stands at the moment, court has finally spoken and made its judgment on the long-awaited case. However, the lawyers of the expelled MPs are about to challenge the case in the Supreme Court, but the lawyers of the NRM party have also said that these members of parliament should vacate their seats with immediate effect, as court so orders.
We have no problem with the sentencing judgment of Honorable Reme Kasule, but we shall immediately lodge an appeal against the majority judgments.
We have precedents here, don't we? Once the court rules, the orders have to be respected. It happened in respect of the mayor, so it should also happen in respect of the MPs.
The expelled MPs were dragged to court after a petition filed by Chibuku MP Saleh Kamba and NRM party adherents Mariam Agasha and Joseph Kwesiga challenging the speaker's ruling. Sohail Mugabi, NTV Weekend Edition.
And that brings this week's 7 days to a close. I am Joel Kamadi alongside Maureen Nambalira on Sign Language. Have a great week ahead.
NTV, turning on your world.
Program Guide.
You're watching NTV.
50 people, 50 days, one task.
An incredible journey of 10,000 kilometers to deliver a taste of home to Humphrey Kayange in London.
A journey you can be part of.
We're looking for 25 people to say Twende Kazi and join the Tusker 25 on this mission.
Join me.
Join me.
Join me. Join me.
Join me. Join us and be a part of Africa's most epic TV show.
Twende Kazi.
And the change of government won't stop a thing. I've run out of fingers counting the number of multinationals setting up here. What about the 3 companies that announced their plans to launch last week? I say they're shopping. Me, I'd be looking to sell. At what price? More. Much, much more. I don't know who you are or how you know these things, but one thing I'm sure of, you're in the wrong job. Here, call me tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to hear more from you.
Are you ready for your big break? The East African, understanding the region.
NTV, turning on your world.
very good afternoon. Thank you so much for watching NTV. We're coming to you live from Mbale here. And it's very hot here. The temperatures go up to 30 degrees. So you can imagine what the environment looks like and feels like here in Mbale. This is NTV at 1. I am Solomon Serwanja. We'll look at a couple of stories, but first, let's go direct into the headlines. Leaders of opposition parties meet in Mbara to enlighten the masses on the need for a free and fair election in 2016. Also coming up, a land row in Napak district has compelled some residents to spend nights guarding their property. We'll also look at former Ukrainian Prime Minister who has urged protesters to continue holding demonstrations even after her release. This is NTV at 1. Reforms. Now, they started in Mbara, where they met district leaders, the cultural leaders and the religious leaders to discuss and to compel government to go ahead with the reforms in 3 months to foster a free and fair election.
Emotions ran high at the Catholic Social Center in Mbarara as leaders from the opposition kicked off in earnest a grassroots campaign on electoral reforms. During his speech, the UPC party president Olara Otuno underscored the importance of electoral reforms as a safety net against malpractices and rigging.
At this moment, we must submerge that to the greater good of the country and first provide a place under the sun for all Ugandans. Then we can compete along all the other lines. That is why we'll come together in a non-partisan effort.
Otuno said reforms are crucial for Uganda's democratic growth, which is a cornerstone for peace and development.
We all deserve to end the plunder going on in our country, regardless of which part of the country we come from. Let us be clear.
Democratic Party President Norbert Mao asked the youth to embrace the electoral reform campaign. He also said the opposition should transcend petty squabbles and divisions to unite.
I'm here not to threaten you, but to warn you. I'm here to warn you. Uganda. Museveni yani agenda okulemesa abaana bammwe okubeera mu mirembe. Eggwanga lyonna libakyawe.
Embattled Kampala Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago also called upon the youth to advocate for their rights so that Uganda can return on a path of democratic governance. Amongst the electoral reforms the opposition is agitating for includes the appointment of an independent electoral commission, the issuance of new voters' registers, and the removal of the army in monitoring of election results.
Now, that story is a build-up for the 2016 general election. It started way back when both government officials and the opposition were meeting to discuss electoral reforms at the Golf Course Hotel. But moving on now, residents in Apili Parish in Napak district are spending sleepless nights while guarding their plots of land. Now, the tension there emerged after residents involved in a land wrangle with the Lango Diocese over a 2 square mile piece of land. We take a look at that story.
NTV visited Ochwali village, which has been affected by the wave of crime. As the sun sets and darkness envelops the skies, residents here keep awake to watch over their property. Aaron Ogwok is one of the residents who spends the night out away from the comfort of his grass-thatched house. The old, women and children take turns to patrol and guard their neighborhood in the night against criminals. Armed with torches and sticks, residents here say they would rather stay awake to keep criminals at bay after police allegedly abdicated its role in the area.
Now, dozens of parents and teachers in Jinja Town have staged protests over the appointment of a new head teacher at their school. Now, parents of Nakanyonyi Primary School accuse the headmaster of being incompetent. Now, the police were called on to bring the situation back to calm. We have that story from Jinja Town.
I've received reports that the newly posted head teacher to Nakanyonyi Primary School has been rejected by the school management and PTA and the parents. And I'm informed that there are some reasons they have advanced for rejecting him. Of course, as an administrator, I want to find out exactly what is on the ground, and then probably I can give guidance.
There was a strike at Nakanyonyi Primary School. Where, as security, we rushed in at the school and found the situation back to normal. On receipt that, the outgoing headmaster who retired, after retiring, they brought in another headmaster from Pomude, but the management of the school rejected him on information of bad performance. Now, when the management sat, they resolved that the one who is the caretaker should remain in the office until they get a new headmaster.
Maybe those parents and their pupils would have given the headmaster some time to see if he could improve or not, but it's their right really to protest against him if they want to. Moving on, the Uganda Wildlife Authority has raised an alarm over the poisoning of wildlife in the Queen Elizabeth National Park by the members and people in that community. Now, this, according to the authority, has led to the death of some lions that are mostly targeted in the national park. Now, this indeed will have an effect on the tourism attraction that largely is the fastest growing sector of Uganda. Now, tracking lions in Queen Elizabeth National Park cost about 370,000 shillings to foreigners. This here is very dangerous for the country's tourism industry. Jingo Francis was in Queen Elizabeth National Park and returned with this story.
We set off to track lions. Missing out on watching lions in the park is as good as not visiting the park.
We have a receiver, so when we are moving, we are able to pick signals from the lions and we'll be able to know the direction where they are.
After several hours on the trail, we finally sight the king of the jungle.
Wherever it is, everybody in the vicinity is scared. Even when he's roaring, a roar is enough to scare all the animals around. And therefore that makes it get the fame that is the king of the jungle. Because even the outlook is so scaring. If you look direct into the eye of the lion and you look at the man, really you get timid and you're scared.
We get closer to the shrub from where a pack of lions is taking shelter.
It's not easy to see a lion, especially when there are high temperatures. And as we talk now, they are hiding in the shrub, resting. But it's the best time to see a lion is very early in the morning, and that's when tourists move in to watch the lions.
They can produce 3 or 4 of them, and the mother makes sure that it keeps those cubs very well. Otherwise, if there's another male who would come across them, he can easily kill them.
Tourists have to part with an extra $150 to catch a glimpse of the lions.
After paying entrance, we make you pay extra fee to make sure that we are able to take you directly to the lions, and you get the best experience.
They live along with the human beings. We went almost near where they are, which was totally different from those of Namibia. Because of those of Namibia, they even refused us to move out of their vehicles. Dearly, Uganda is the power of Africa.
However, as a result of a population explosion around the park, the local community has often conflicted with the management of the park after the attack on their herd of cattle and goats by predators.
The whole continent of Africa has registered the decline of predator population. Lions, in most cases, they are at loggerheads with the pastoral communities.
In turn, the locals have resorted to poisoning wildlife, especially lions. There is fear that this could drastically deplete the number of lions in the park.
And because the lions will continue coming to eat, then the whole of that pride can be exterminated. And that's how the prides have really gone declining.
Conservationists say a lion has a life expectancy of about 25 years. Jingo Francis, NTV.
Thank you, Jingo Francis, with that story, but I can say that it's indeed very disappointing to hear that the community is poisoning wild animals, which eventually will be very dangerous for Uganda's tourism industry. Now, we take a very short break and we return with NTV at 1.
Theft can not only cause destruction of properties and power outages, but can also lead to death.
This is today's Umeme outage report. To improve supply stability, maintenance was carried out in the following areas today: Chisubi area and Entebbe Township, Namgongo, Chireka, Chira and surrounding area. We appreciate your patience while these works are going on. Saturday, 22nd February 2014, Barara, Masaka, Kasese, Fort Porto, Kabale, Ushenyi, Mitiana and Hoima. Sunday, 23rd February 2014, Kisenyi, Owino Market, Zambia Barracks, Kevina, Gogonya and parts of Luzira. We do not anticipate major problems over the weekend. Please remember to report all broken wires, poles, power theft and outages on our toll-free lines 08001 85185.
Speak up and report power theft. It's a crime and affects everyone. Let's unite against power theft and save lives.
On the next episode of Tuwaye.
Too much, kubanga tebalina olungereza.
Sophie omanyiyani kuligari.
Sirina. Ekindi kyo kuyiga nnyo ttekeezo. Ngebiseera na internet nango kugenda ko mu budongo nga bolaba White Nile.
Tebiriko myaka kickboxing abazanyi b'omupiira.
Tebiriko myaka ugasokule eggumba lirikowa.
Myaka 28 nti
bikonde bye bigobamu. Ugasoba nga bitanze kukwata omanyi okuzi. Ngoganze bonna empoye.
Wala yagambye ajja kukuba n'omukyala amutwala.
Tekeze teziruma ezisi zitya.
Tuwaye.
Welcome back from that short break. If you've just joined us, we're coming to you live from Ballet Town for this edition of NTV at 1. Now, on the set, I'm joined by Dr. John Hauha, one of the elders here in Mbale Town. Now, as we earlier saw in NTV District Edition, Mbale was once the cleanest town in East and Central Africa, but over the years it has degenerated and it's living in the shadow of this past. But nevertheless, some buildings are beginning to come up and businesses beginning to boom in some areas, including the market and some few structures that are coming in now. The person we have on set, thank you so much, Dr. John Hauha, for joining us here on NTV at 1.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation.
I think I like your name, Hauha. What does I'm sure names here also have meaning. What does Hauha mean?
Well, Hauha means an insect. in my language. Yeah.
Aura means an insect.
An insect, yeah.
Okay, can I call you an insect?
Yeah, you could call me an insect. Well, I was named an insect. I can't put it out.
Okay, that's away from that. You left and you went in the, I think in Germany in 1975 and returned in 2003. Have you seen Mbale change? Is it like how it used to be, or what's your comparison on the current Mbale town as you see it?
Well, I've noticed a number of changes. One of the most important changes is security. When I went in 75, there was a lot of insecurity, unrest, yeah. And at that time, people were not on the street, were not too sure, you know, about their security. Now, when I come back 2003, there is plenty of security, yeah, and I feel at home, yeah.
In terms of infrastructure?
Infrastructure, well, things are moved a bit, yeah. The town has not deteriorated a bit. It is not so clean like it used to be in the past, yeah. But, well, those are, I think, duties, those are challenges that have to be overcome at the moment, yeah. The infrastructure, well, I noticed that there are a number of factories that are coming up. There are a number of new buildings, yeah. I am one of the people who have managed to secure a building here in the center of the town. Now, the purpose of the building is to rent out to other business people. And I've found an NGO in Uganda, yeah. And the purpose of the NGO is to help improve on the medical care of children who have psychological and psychiatric problems.
Okay.
We know that it is a challenge for these children. You know, there are certain disorders that are not really taken seriously. With my experience in Europe, as a psychiatrist, as a pediatrician, as a general practitioner, there are certain conditions one has to be aware of. So with in the NGO, I'm going to bring in experts from Europe to help our country.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, Dr. John Hauha is a medical doctor who has been away for quite a while. But indeed, I want to bring you from the medical aspect to the economic aspect. You're one of the people in the diaspora who has invested. I should say that Dr. John Hauha is the owner of the RJ Apartments, where we've been doing our broadcast for NTV NTV District Edition. Doctor, as people who have been living in the diaspora, don't you think it's high time that your friends who you've been with, the Bagisu and the people of Mbale, need to come back and change the face of this town?
Yeah, indeed. Well, they should come back, you know. And one of actually my goals is to come back. So I've started putting some, you know, like an NGO, put up these, bought that buildings, you know, and do some investment also in the country, not only this part of Uganda. I mean, I'm a Ugandan. I look at the whole country. We have started, you know, with the NGO in Mbale, but we hope to spread to other parts of Uganda.
Thank you very much, Dr. John Hauha, for joining us. He's a doctor, he's a general practitioner, he's a psychiatrist. He's so much a treasure in this town, a doctor, and indeed it's a pleasure to have you here on NTV at 1. But I hope you'll be joining us for our live debate, which is going to be at the town hall here, where we'll be interfacing with political leaders and cultural leaders here on how to take Mbale forward.
Okay, thank you very much for this invitation. Yeah, I'll be glad to do that. Yeah.
It's indeed a pleasure to have you now. Yeah. That has been Dr. John Hauha, a general practitioner here in Mbale, who has been away, but he's coming back home to serve his people here in Mbale. Of course, he's a proprietor and a very big investor here in Mbale town. We continue with NTV at 1 with our international news now. When you look at former Ukrainian Prime Minister Tymoshenko has raised protesters in Kyiv's Independence Square and has called on them to continue with the protest just a few hours after she was released from prison. Her call comes after Ukrainian legislators voted to move President Yanukovych and have presidential elections on the 25th of May. We take a look at that story.
Слава Україні! Tymoshenko's speech to about 50,000 people made from a wheelchair because of the severe back problems she suffered in 2.5 years of imprisonment was the latest development in the country's fast-moving political crisis. Earlier on Saturday, Parliament voted to remove President Viktor Yanukovych from office hours after he abandoned his Kiev office to protesters and denounced what he described as a coup. The impeachment, which was backed by 328 of the 447 deputies, argues that Yanukovych abused his powers.
When I arrived in Kiev, I didn't recognize it. Burnt cars, barricades, flowers. But it's a different Ukraine. The Ukraine of free people for those who live today and for those who will live in the future. You gave the gift of Ukraine. That is why people who were at Maidan, who died for Maidan, are heroes. They're heroes forever.
A lot of young people died before we got here. It's unacceptable. We are all the same blood.
I hope for a better future and a better life for the new government. This is why I support the revolution.
The Ukrainian parliament, which decisively abandoned Yanukovych after loyalists defected, declared on Saturday the president constitutionally unable to carry out his duties and set an early election for May 25th. Deputies in the assembly stood, applauded and sang the national anthem. In a television interview shortly beforehand, which the station said was conducted in the eastern city of Kharkiv, Yanukovych said he would not resign or leave the country and called decisions by parliament illegal.
All that is taking place today is vandalism, a crime and a staged revolt.
Despite his defiance, the dismantling of his authority seemed all but complete, with his cabinet promising a transition to a new government. The police declaring themselves behind the protesters and his jailed adversary, Yulia Tymoshenko, freed. Tymoshenko was freed earlier on Saturday from the hospital where she had been held under prison guard for most of the time since she was convicted in 2011. Tymoshenko, aged 53, was jailed in 2011 for abuse of office over a gas deal with Russia, but her supporters and Western leaders say her trial was politically motivated. The release followed an earlier vote by Parliament to free her.
Now from that to our international sports segment. Now for the Formula One racing fans, Nick Rosberg has continued playing down his impressive testing time and talks of his Mercedes team being tipped off to win the 2014 World Championship. This and more in our international news roundup.
Nico Rosberg said it is too early to say his Mercedes team are favorites for the 2014 World Championship despite their impressive testing form. Rosberg and teammate Lewis Hamilton set by far the two fastest times of the second pre-season test in Bahrain. The German was 1.627 seconds quicker than the first non-Mercedes driver. His pace-setting lap on Saturday was also nearly a second faster than the best time set by Hamilton the previous day. But Rosberg pointed out that it is impossible to compare lap times in testing because teams were doing different programs at different times with the cars in different configurations.
But Sutil's, amazingly enough, has continued, and of course the other car out is the one he hit.
In golf, Graham McDowell bowled out of the WC match play in Arizona after Frenchman Victor Dubuisson beat him 1-up. The Northern Irishman was seeking to reach the same finals for the first time but crucially lost the 16th hole. In today's semi-final, Dubuisson is playing veteran Ernie Els, who beat 20-year-old American Jordan Spieth 4-2.
But then I felt like I played okay. You know, I gave him number 7, but from then on I played okay golf. You know, I got it up and down when I needed to. 15 and 14 and number 11 was big. So I'm fortunate to go through. Jordan was a bit off.
Ricky Fowler lost 4 successive holes to Jimmy Farrick but recorded a 2-1 victory and will now face Johnson Day, who beat Louis Oosthuizen 1-up.
I played nicely. I just, you know, a few errant tee shots and can't give away holes to Jason. You're not going to get them back, and try to make a comeback at the end, but just fall a bit short.
On court, Venus Williams beat Alize Cornet in straight sets to win the Dubai Championship title for a third time. The 33-year-old American, now down at 44 in world rankings, gained revenge for her sister and world #1 Serena, who suffered the same final defeat by the French woman on Friday. Venus used all her experience to record a 6-3-6 love victory against the world #26 in Saturday's final. This was her first WTA Tour title since she won in Luxembourg in October 2012.
That's all we had for you on NTV at 1, but be sure to join us later today on NTV Kusawemu as we continue with the NTV District Edition. Then I will return at 9 o'clock with Rukshana for the NTV District Edition with Rukshana Namwimba. But be sure to join us on our live debate where we'll be discussing issues on politics and how to take Mbale forward. But also, years later in Bududa, what can we do to prevent further occurrence of mudslides here in the Bugisu sub-region? We'll be interfacing with political leaders, cultural leaders at the town hall at 9:50. Moise Mugisha and Julia Senkandwa will be moderating that. And be sure that you can join us on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, or you can watch it live on NTV, streaming live from wherever you are. From the entire team here in Mbale, it's a good afternoon. We return later. Have a lovely day.
NTV, turning on your world.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the news beat presented to you by Lady Slack and MC Loy. Follow the beat from the studio to the street. Info with the flow, keep you sharp and in the know. Sit back, relax, enjoy the news, follow. Rebels challenging authority from Juba to Bangi. Same old story of history repeating itself. Now it's Mr. Salva Kiir fearing to be put on the shelf.
Fireworks standing to boom blast and peace didn't last in the world's youngest republic,
which also happens to be Africa's second largest oil deposit.
When Juba is under attack, Uganda has its back. Our president sent 4,500 soldiers to keep law and order across the border.
Now USA wants UPDF to go. This ain't Somalia or Congo, but President Museveni said they will remain there. Good news for the Chinese business affairs who invested billions and not interested in rebellion.
Some people say the conflicts are tribal, that Nuer and Dinka are rivals.
But reality is much more complex. See the bigger picture to know what next.
Africa's Winter Olympic dreams are strengthening, it seems. There is no snow in Togo, but there are 2 Togolese in Sochi. The tiny West African country competed in cross-country skiing and alpine ski.
Other Africans included 2 skiers from Morocco and 1 from Zimbabwe.
Did you say Zimbabwe?
Yes, indeed. They sent their team to practice in the USA.
Just for braving the cold, I think they all deserve gold.
Ugandan scientists say the mountain of the moon is getting warmer every day. No more snow in Rwenzori.
Maybe that's why there were no Ugandans in Sochi.
This is a serious matter, not a reason for laughter. A problem that will not go away. A bill left for our children to pay. Snow is melting cause the earth is getting warmer. It might be old news that the earth is getting abused, but we can still take action by reducing our pollution
and hopefully inspire wealthier nations.
Every 2 weeks a language dies in the world, gone forever, forgotten by all. Often English is adopted, entire cultures abducted. In Uganda, we often hear parents say, I want my child to speak English anyway.
But that's not a good idea. Why can't we have our own Shakespeare in Luganda, Runyankole, Lebacholi, or our own Britney Spears in Lutoro or Lugubarat?
Our mother tongue is who we are, not just some words. That's the message from our language boards. Across the country, communities are researching about the grammar and orthography, creating and revising alphabets, sowing the seeds for a future generation of writers, rappers, and poets.
That's Uganda at its best, when we value our diversity.
Just like the ministry who made mother tongue education a national policy. That was the news on the beat. Next week will be another hit. Still ladies like
MC Loy,
reporting live and direct with love and respect. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
International Alert, in partnership with Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Youth Affairs and the National Youth Council, are organizing a national symposium on the youth under the theme Youth, Peace and Development. Venue, Women Conference. Date, 25th February 2014.
Tubalamusiza abeeyo abami n'abakyala abavubuka n'abatenyo gano ge mawulire gaffe ku ngoma nga gakuweerezeddwa MC Loy ne Ladies Like. Tuula, kalira, wuliriza, nyumira amawulire. Abayekera bakyankalanyiza obuyinza okuva ejjuba paka bandi ebyafaayo nateera byezeemu mwami Salva Kiir atiddemu ng'essanyu lye likyankalanyiziddwa kuba emirembe tegibandadde muline eggwanga etteribadde lyakafuna ameefuga
era nga lye limu ku mawanga mu Afrika agalimu amaterekero g'amafuta amangi.
Ensonga yeeraliikiriza China okubanga babadde bakagisigamu obuwumbi bw'ensimbi nga tebagala kumanya bya ntalo.
Jubbe yeekeddwa naye mwami Museveni aweerezza abajaasi 1500 okuuma emirembe naye Abamerika bagamba UPDF ekomewo naye eno si Somalia oba Congo.
Naye mwami Museveni abaanukudde embwa ekyo tekijja kusoboka era ekisanyusiza bamusiga nsimbi ab'e China.
Abantu abamu bagamba zino ntalo z'amawanga Abanwero n'Abadinka era nga zino ensonga ziviirira ddala ku bujjajja era nga kyetaagisa okuzitetenkanya nnyo okufunamu ekipya ekijja.
Ebyemizannyo eby'omu muzira mu Afrika kibanga kirooto naye bannatogo babiri babitabikudde nga kibooko n'Abafirika abalala babiri okuva e Morocco omu okuva e Zimbabwe tebalutumidde mwana.
Yadde ewaabwe teri buzira bo tekibakanga baweerezza abazannyi baabwe okutendekebwa mu Amerika era babalageko nti ne muzira bakyamalako.
Mu butuufu bano basaana zaabu.
Bakakensa mu butonde bw'ensi bagamba nti omuzira ku lusozi lw'Enzooli gusaanuuse ensonga yeeraliikiriza era ng'egenda kukosa nnyo abaana baffe.
Enkyukakyuka mu butonde lyandiba eggulire ekkadde naye kitukakatako okukyusa mutwe wala okukozesa ebintu ebivaamu omukka ogw'obutwa tusobole okuzza n'okukuuma obutonde kuba busaanawo.
Buli luvannyuma lwa sabbiiti ennimi zaffe enzaaliranwa zisaanawo. Oluzungu balusikiza ennimi zaffe era mu Uganda abazadde bangi baagala abaana baabwe boogera Luzungu lwokka.
Naye nga si kituufu kubanga naffe tulina okubeera ne ba Shakespeare ab'enkya mu Luganda, Lunyankole, Lukyoli oba ba Breaking Spear mu Lutoolo, mu Lulugwala n'amawanga amalala.
Ennimi zaffe ziraga ekituufu kye tuli ddala era ab'ebitongole mu byalo bakoze omulimu gw'okunoonyereza okwejjukanya n'okutereezaamu mu mpandiika enjatula enjogera n'ennyambala.
Kitusobozesa okusiga ensigo ennungi ez'abawandiisi abatontomi n'abogezi mu lulimi Oluganda.
Ng'era ab'ebitongole ffenna tusomesa abantu baffe ennimi enzaaliranwa ng'etteeka.
Awo nno twenyumirize mu Uganda ekkula. Ago ge gabadde amawulire gaffe ku ngoma n'olulala tulondirira amawulire amalala g'okya nsigadde nze MC Loy
ne Ladies Like.
Ago ge mawulire ku ngoma wulira amawulire tuula kalira wuliriza goberera okuva mu studio paka street ge mawulire.
Goberera engoma goberera engoma goberera engoma
goberera engoma
goberera engoma goberera engoma goberera engoma
goberera engoma.
NTV, turning on your world.
People, 50 days, one task.
An incredible journey of 10,000 kilometers to deliver a taste of home to Humphrey Kayange in London.
A journey you can be part of.
We're looking for 25 people to say Twende Kazi and join the Tusker 25 on this mission.
Join me.
Join me.
Join me. Join me.
Join me. Join us and be a part of Africa's most epic TV show. Twende Kazi.
Today's highlight with
New geisha with extracts from Mother Nature.
Back off! Okay, come on.
Leave him alone. Leave him alone.
Let's go.
David.
No,
Leave
no,
him alone.
folks.
I didn't mean to hurt you.
Well, you did. You know I gave up everything for you.
In the future, I would like to see myself back with her if we can come to agreement. But until then, I'm just trying to get on with my life.
My mom always wants what's best for us. That's why she uses new geisha with extracts from nature. New geisha with extracts from Mother Nature.
This program is rated GE. It is suitable for all audiences.
Another beautiful day in the swamp. City bop boom bam. Yeah, it's beginning to bloom and it's hot and sticky. Zip 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 boom bam. Traffic update. Take Alligator Alley and make it snappy. Zip 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 zip. Zip 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 zip. It's faster than the eye. I guess I'm one super fly. Might throw some traveling music. Come on, head on down the road. Hey, watch me now, come on. I'm fast, I'm cool. Ain't nothing gonna stop me. My great grandma's faster than that, and she got a walker. Oh, way too slow, way too slow. I got plenty of time. I just rest here. Oh, nice try, but, well, I'm just too hip to flip. Let me out your mouth. You don't know where I've been. All right, you win. Oh, you used to be much faster, Kermit.
And you used to be much thinner, Horace.
I know. I gotta lay off those late-night poo-poo platters. Hey, I'll see you at the swamp.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Kermit.
Yeah?
Welcome home.
Home. Yep, that's where I'm headed. Back home to the swamp. You know, there's something magic about going back to the place where you grew up. Every lily pad, moss-covered tree seems to bring back memories. Even this old dirt road. Now, I know it doesn't look like much, but I remember the first time I ever saw it. I was 12 years old, and I didn't know it then, but my friends and I were about to go on the biggest adventure of our lives. You see, Me and my buddies Croaker and Goggles had already dropped our tails, but grown-ups still treated us like we were tadpoles. So every day we'd go looking for new ways to show the world how big and brave we were.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do it now.
Come on, Kerm. We ain't got all day here.
This looks dangerous.
What are you waiting for? Come on.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna do it now. Watch. Ready, set, go! Come on in, Goggles. The water's fine.
Oh, I don't know, Kermit. We toads don't actually like water all that much.
Oh, come on. It's fun.
Okay, if you say so. Help, I'm drowning! My whole life is flashing before my big, bulgy eyes.
Excuse me, Goggles. Goggles. The water's only 3 inches deep.
Oh, hey.
Are you okay?
Yeah, that was fun, I think.
Out of the way, tadpoles. Here comes Croaker.
Way to go, Croaker! Wow, that was his highest hop.
And his splashiest landing.
Yeah. Way to go, Croaker!
Hey, Croaker?
Croaker!
Croaker, where are you? Croaker?
Croaker!
Croaker! Oh, a frog can't drown. It's oxymoronic. Croaker!
Croaker, where are you?
Croaker! Croaker! Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Come on,
you guys.
Now this is the good life, huh, fellas?
Yeah.
Hanging with your best buddies?
Breathing in that stanky swamp air.
Yeah. I don't know.
What's the matter, Kerm? You don't like hanging out with us no more?
It's because I'm a toad, right? You don't like hanging out with warty toads.
You guys are the best. It's just that, I don't know, haven't you ever wondered if there's something out there? You know, something beyond this swamp?
No? Should I have? Am I abnormal?
Yes. You know, I think you're onto something here, Kerm.
Well, maybe. You know, it's just that, I don't know, sometimes if I listen real close, I swear I can hear a voice calling my name.
Yeah? Voices, huh?
Yeah, well, sort of like this. Kermit.
Who's Herman?
The voice says Kermit.
Oh.
Anyway, so you hear voices, and?
Oh, forget it, you guys. This is silly.
No. If you're hearing voices telling you that you should go out of the swamp, well, then I think you should listen.
Hey, where are you going?
Out of the swamp.
What?
Wait, I must have water in my ears. I could have swore you just said you were going out of the swamp.
Oh, no, I'm not going out of the swamp.
Oh,
yeah, no, we're going out of the swamp.
What?
I'm having palpitations here.
Row!
I'm rowing, sir. I'm rowing.
Halt! You know, Mary, sometimes I think this is where I truly belong.
In a boat?
No. In the swamp. Waiting for the sunrise, matching wits with nature.
Wearing rubber pants.
Yes, well, nature takes some strange turns.
It does?
Yes. You know, I mean, when you're young, you think you're going one way, and you end up heading in the opposite direction.
We're lost?
No, we're not lost. I know exactly where we're going. Right over there, where the frogs should be. Come on, put your back into it, Mary. Row!
Yes, sir.
Row!
Croaker, stop. You know we're never supposed to leave the swamp.
Are you out of your mind?
If we want to know what's out there, then I think we have to go out there.
I don't want to know what's out there. I'm not even comfortable with what's in here.
Well, then maybe you guys shouldn't come.
Huh? Kermit, we gotta stop him. This is a sin against nature.
Come on, maybe we can talk some sense into him. Croaker, wait up.
Well, come on.
Okay.
Well, fellas, here it is. This is it. Just beyond this marsh grass here is the outside world.
Oh, wow, we're really here.
I think I feel a rash coming on.
I've never been this close before.
Am I breaking out?
Take it easy, Sweaty McSweaty Cuddy. It'll be an adventure.
But adventures make me gassy.
Goggles, come on. You can't be afraid all of your life.
Sure I can.
Look, Goggles, how about we just take a quick peek and come right back, huh?
No, I can't.
Sure you can.
I can't.
You can.
I can't.
Mary, did you hear that?
The birds?
No.
Quick.
Can.
Frogs? Saw the wind whistling softly through the tall marsh grass.
We're not looking for whistling grass. We're looking for frogs.
Sorry, Mr. Craftsman.
That's Dr. Craftsman.
You can.
Look. Frogs. I knew I'd find them here. I'm a genius.
Well, sir, this is their ecosystem.
Ecosystem, schmeecosystem. Come on.
Right, sir.
What kind of creatures are those?
I don't know.
Yes, sir. Doctor, sir.
Come, where are we going? Where you pushing?
Just keep moving.
Come here.
Sorry.
Oh, you stepped on my gland.
Your poison gland?
Guys.
I'm gonna find you and catch you, and you can't do a thing about it.
Sir, are you talking to the frogs?
Me? No, of course not. No, I was talking. Well, I wasn't talking. Look, I think I saw them over here.
Shh, be quiet. Poison on my foot.
I can't help it. It's a toad's only defense mechanism.
Guys, be quiet. Stay hidden.
An attention pad. Oh, it's on my foot.
Poker, no!
Don't leave me. I have abandonment issues.
Oh, sweet relief. Oh, that's nice. God.
There they are! Finally caught you. You can't escape. Nothing can save you now.
Except possibly that.
What?
Oh, thank you, Ernie.
Oh, anytime, Kerm. So tell me, what were you boys doing down there by the edge of the swamp?
Edge of the swamp? We weren't at the edge of the swamp. We're right here, tasting plum scum.
Pond scum, yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, no. Actually, we were just bobbing for stink bars.
Bobbing. We were bobbing.
Yeah. Would you believe we were studying ophthalmology?